Okay, I think I'm streaming now. Let me check. Okay, so I am streaming. It looks like I'm live. If anyone's there, put a number 1 in the chat. I'm prepping for tomorrow's show and wanted to come on and check that everything is working okay. It's rather late out here on the West Coast. So I'm checking my slides to see that they work. Let's see. Hello, I see people. Hi, I'm checking my show to make sure everything's working, but I made a commitment to come on every weekday this week. So here I am. How are you, Doris? How are you, Quinn? If you can hear me, yep, you both have 1s in the chat. Okay, so can you see what's on the screen also? Can you put a 2 in the chat if you can see that? Hi, Nellie Dean. If you guys can read what's on the screen, can you please put a number 2 in the chat? I was going to stream earlier and it looked like lots and lots of people were on, so I didn't want to step on anybody's broadcast. Not that I'm a big deal or anything, but I know there are lots of people who've been doing this for a long time, and I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to, come on when you had time and see me and not skip something else or feel pressure. So, you're fine. Doris is fine. Nellie's fine, I guess. How are you, Nellie? How are you, Quinn? So I've been thinking a lot about this monarch, right? And I know I talked about it yesterday for quite a bit. And I think there's something to it, right? The literal monarch and the metaphorical monarch. And I've also been thinking about, I'm so glad that you are, Quinn. I'm so glad that you are. Let's see. Doris said that they're fine. And so who else is not fine? Doris is fine. Nellie is okay. Nellie, how are you? So I've been thinking a lot about this monarch. The monarch butterfly, the literal and the metaphorical butterfly, right? And we did a show. I don't know if it's still here. Let me see if I can. I'm learning the software, guys. See, nope, that's not it. 1 second, turn that off. So I did that whole show yesterday. Oh, I think I have to do transition or something. Okay, about the king and what was happening around that painting. And I saw there's the slideshow I did that I was talking about, Charles from when he was young and he experienced, he had lots of nannies, but I think there was still a lot of neglect from his mom based on the fact that she had lots of responsibilities. And so, when we have responsibilities, I've never been in that situation where I'm a monarch, clearly, but I have been in a situation where I've had lots of responsibilities, never with a child that was being left with nannies. So anyway, just thinking about that whole situation and thinking about the cycle of the butterfly and also thinking about how Meghan's been treated in the media, I was thinking a lot about those intersections, right? Between, and what happens in that whole lifespan of the butterfly. And so again, Charles yesterday, thinking about him as a little boy and some of the changes that he had to go through, right? So he's kind of cute and innocent looking in this painting that I used AI to create, didn't create it, did write the poem, if you will. And then as he grows, the monarch is looming, the monarchy and the monarch butterfly also is there looming. And, you can find it if you look closely enough in I think almost every slide, if not every slide. So you have this monarchy looming and you have this child. And so what happens when a child is left to get everything that they want, but they're also not left to get a whole lot of things that they need, i.e. the love of a mother, right? And so I don't know if Camilla is currently in that role of Queen Elizabeth, if you will, but we all know that there was some severe neglect. And so then you have this, Charles is having this, living throughout his life cycle, right? And he's, at the end of that journey at this point. And so what's left, right? So he's gone through let's say, if we're going to make a direct comparison, the caterpillar stage, where you're young and you're innocent and you're eating lots of vegetables, and then you go, he's gone into like the chrysalis and he's become an adult and he's come out, a butterfly, if you will, a literal monarch at this point. And so, he's doing what he needs to sustain himself. And he also has 2 children. And so what has been sacrificed for the monarch, for the monarchy? To me, it looks a lot like Harry has been sacrificed for the monarchy. Harry's family has been sacrificed for the monarchy. And as a result, so when I'm looking at that painting yesterday, I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, like I see so much in that. The orange red is sort of the color of the monarch butterfly. The orange red is kind of the color, the painter, Yao, painted him sort of like, he looked really almost handsome and tan and almost an orange color like the monarch butterfly. And so like now he's literally the monarch, and you see this monarch butterfly that's also very clear. And so what does that mean? What does that mean? And so when I think about Harry and Meghan having to leave with the understanding that all this red has happened in between, right? Allegedly and not allegedly, but Diana is no longer with us. And so there was lots of red, if you will, in that situation. And the Queen is no longer with us. And, in the end, a lot of people will say that she was left unprotected. And Harry is no longer there and was in a whole car chase. And lots of people will say, that there was a kind of sacrifice. And so I've been thinking about a lot of these things and just thinking about, like, what are some of your opinions on this and other things that are happening right now in the media, if you will, in the media landscape? Anybody have anything to say? So I'll go through these slides again just really quickly. So as I was creating these, I was asking the program to make things a little bit more distorted every time, because I think as you experience trauma, things begin to get a little bit more distorted, and you also your thinking can become a lot more distorted. And so the images to me that I was creating were saying the same kind of thing. Like, all right, so now I'm here, I've experienced this trauma, I've experienced this neglect. Who am I? What am I doing? And so we have that too. And then, as the child grows and, gets older, you start to see them taking different chances. And there's some literal, some red on the face. What does that mean? To me, it signifies a kind of trauma. I don't know what the trauma is necessarily, but we know that Charles has gone through a lot in order to get to that position of the monarchy. And he's also sacrificed a lot. And some people will say that, allegedly as a result of taking away or not ensuring that Diana that she had security, that, her life was lost. And then those kids, as a result of losing their mother, they turned out to be, they looked very vacant at certain points in their lives. So Quinn is saying a lot of trauma in that picture. Yeah, and then that butterfly picture that Yao painted, I'm just like, there's so much. And it also to me felt like, in a kind of way, like a mirror that was being held up to Charles at the same time. So here is you're unveiling your official picture that generations of people are going to see. You wanted it to be edgy, you wanted it to be cool, and this is how he said he sees you. And so, like, I'm like, all right, I see the monarch, and that's a cool thing, but is that also a way to play on, like, he had to know that the reaction would be what it would be, in my mind, right? Anybody, yeah, what do you guys think? I think he had to know that the reaction from the people under the crown they were not going to react in a way that was happy. And then there were also going to be, like, the royalists, if you will. And then on the other side, lots of other people were going to say, good, this is what's happened. Like, there's been lots of bloodletting. There's been lots of blood, like with the loss of the princess who would be queen right now if things had worked out. And so we're going to show you what we think of you. And so, am I reaching? I'm thinking that that's what the painter was saying to Charles. This painting is not just a portrait of you, but it is also a mirror of you. And it's telling you what we actually also think of you. What do you guys think? Anybody have anything to say about that? Because it's really been on my mind a lot. I'm like, yeah, because I work in the therapy world, and so I think a lot about the mind. And so, like, as the child grows older, the scars get deeper, you start to get disillusioned, or you don't see everything that happens that's in your purview because you can be obsessed with the monarch or the monarchy, and so with his mom, like, had she not passed away, now we all understand that the king has cancer. That's what's been said, right? And so he could literally, had she lived as long as the queen mother, he might never have been monarch and had just lived with that whole thing. I can see it, I can see it, I can see it. But in order for me to touch it, there has to be a release of my mother from her life, right? So you have to lose this, you have to lose, and all of these things that have been lost for the kiddos, like William and Harry, for him, the mother, the queen, his mother is also gone. So you have all these men without a matriarch in the family anymore to direct anything. And so yeah, these are some of the things that have been on my mind. And so I was taking a look back at the slides that we talked about yesterday. It's lots of blood on the crown. Yeah, there's lots of blood on the crown. Nellie says it's too deep for me. What part of it, Nellie? What is it that, like, does it feel traumatizing to have these conversations, or, like, say more? What do you mean it's too deep for you? Like, this guy, to me, reminds me of Charles, the picture that we see. And maybe that's the precursor to the painting that we saw, right? I think Chucky may now be embarrassed by the portrait based on the comments and insults. Yeah, like, he would have to be embarrassed by that portrait. Because who would not be? Like, this is a whole painting, and you're like, he looked so excited when he ripped that, that black sheet or that black cover off of it to see, what did this painter see when he saw my soul? And yeah, and so what he got was very different, I would imagine, than he expected. Nellie says, I don't like to look at it. It's hard to look at, and at the same time, for me, it draws me in. Because, like, I imagine that there's so much underneath the paint, right? What is hiding underneath there? And I think I talked yesterday a little bit about, like, that there could be a whole, like, all the catastrophes that have been committed, or lots of them. We don't know if Diana's under all of that. We don't know if the Queen's under all of that. Because if the Queen allegedly wasn't protected, did anything, some people will say that as a result of the Queen not being protected and him being able to ascend to the throne, that everything wasn't handled in the best way. That after the father died, that the Queen was left. Because, whatever he did, he protected his wife. He protected the Queen. And after that, she seemed to be a lot more weak. And then we see these, these papers come out in the media, and now all of a sudden, oh, Camilla will now be known as queen, So I'm like, what? Queen consort? The queen could not stand Camilla. But, now Camilla's having her time in the limelight. Diana's gone, and maybe Camilla's underneath all that red too. She could be hiding. Like, I don't know if he painted her there, but I imagine that. And so these are some of the things that like cross my mind. But when I look at the monarch butterfly, like it's the same almost color as the reddish orange that contains the painting. And I think, okay, I've gotten injured before, and I know that when you don't have a lot of iron in your blood, when you do, it's dark red, right? When you don't, it's less, it has a lot less of the darkness. It's a very kind of faint red. And that's what it looks like to me. Iron deficient blood on the canvas. But, his explanation was very different. And I don't quite trust this narrator. I think that the painter is unreliable. And so, yeah, that's sort of what I've been thinking. And I've been thinking also about, like the recent trip to Nigeria that our Duchess had. And also like the relentless media scrutiny that she has had to deal with lately. Not just lately. And so I listened to a James O'Brien episode, or part of an episode, where he was talking about the radicalization of the British media, right? Or the UK media. And I completely concur. What else would be responsible for the treatment of our Duchess other than the media being radicalized, right? Because they don't act, their fervor is it's like religious. It is not, it is like, I have committed to this thing, and I've given my life to it, and I will do this and use every means at my disposal. I'm going to check her garbage. I'm going to check the literal governor of the state of California had to come out and say what Gavin Newsom said. Shout out to Gavin Newsom for doing that. But like, what in the world? Like, I've never seen this. I've seen a high level of scrutiny by, with President Obama when he was running, right? You had the whole birtherism, and then that revisits us too. Like, she just seems to get them all. She's got birtherism. Show me your DNA test. Show me that you are 43% Nigerian. Like, are you serious? Yeah, I don't believe you. And anyone who understands like how biology works knows that, like Sade, the singer, her father is Nigerian and her mother is Caucasian. She and Meghan are about the same complexion, right? So this is what biracial African descended kids look like. They look often like Sade or Meghan, and they have that skin. They have freckles often. They have features from both parents, and that's it. And so even with Doria's mixture, it still makes sense to me, right? But it's like, I don't believe anything you say. Let's see, are there some more comments in the... Oh, Connie Balmer! Hey! Hey! So even with all of that, like, I'm like, Sade is literally, half Nigerian, and she looks like she looks. And she and Meghan could be, she could be Meghan's very much older sister. I don't even want to say that woman's name that is Meghan's half sibling, right? Allegedly, because mama's baby, daddy's maybe, as far as I'm concerned. I haven't seen the DNA test, so I don't know that they're actually related. I can play that game too, right? So allegedly they are siblings. Until I see the DNA test, I say the jury's out on that, right? So yeah, so the whole thing about like how she looks. This is what people who have one Nigerian parent and one Caucasian parent, right, look like. a Sade. You know, Yara Shahidi's mom is very dark skinned, and her father's from Iran, I believe. And so, like, she has a similar look. And Zendaya's father is very dark skinned, and her mom is Caucasian, and she has a very similar look. I don't understand. Like, some of us are lighter, some of us come out darker. That's inheritance. That's the way DNA works. And so, yeah, so that's what's been on my mind, and just prepping for tomorrow's show. And like I said, I made a commitment to come and see you guys every day, at least for a few minutes, working on my own personal anxiety. And I actually love showing up in the space and talking about our Duchess with you guys. And so here we are. So yeah, the radicalization of the UK media. And so what are some of the clues that we have that you guys have seen that the media is actually radicalized? How does the media compare to, you know, other groups that have this kind of fervor? Like, I've been saved. You know, it's like that to me when I take a look at how much that they have decided to just go in on her. It is not a normal kind of, you know, dislike. Because, you know, I've disliked people before. Like, there's a certain family in California who hail from Calabasas, and they've had a show on TV forever, and I have railed against said show since that show's been on. And so I feel, you know, I don't have that, but I'm not trying to go through their trash. I'm just not trying to look at them when they come on TV, right? Not only are the media radicalized, but two reporters were gleefully discussing the Archwell issue. It was like, and I gotcha. Yeah, how are they feeling today, I wonder? Did you see any of those follow-ups? Any follow-up conversations after? Are they saying that the governor is covering for the Duchess? Or I was just like, I kept seeing things pop up, right? In the media, and I'm like, what is happening? What is happening? And then I discover, I'm like, what? And then I go through the stages of grief. I'm like, oh no, what's happening? And then I remember, like, pretty quickly that this is the UK media, and, you know, it's the day after the return from Nigeria, and they're going to do something. And so I'm like, okay. And then the whole governor of the state of California, like, he has nothing better to do than to come out and say, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Which was pretty disgusting in my mind, right? And so, and it's not going to stop, but I hope that the things that we do in this space and the things that you guys do in your spaces will go, you know, in a way to help Meghan and Harry, you know, feel better. So I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek, if I can. Let me see if I can turn this off, of something that we talked about, that I put together that we didn't get to see. And let's see. There it is. It's called the Black Wife Effect, right? So we talked about it a little bit yesterday, and the slides weren't working. I got them to work today. And so it has to do with, like, black women specifically, who married men from other backgrounds. And it has to do with before and after pictures. And I when I saw these things going around the internet, I'm like, yeah, Harry's had that kind of effect. So I'm going to show you guys and let me know what you think. Does he have a glow up, or am I just, like, reaching? So here we go. Let's see. This is Harry, young Harry, right? Oh, yeah, they're going to trash him. They're going to trash anybody. They thought they had something. They didn't. Oh, well. So this is young Harry. I think this was 2014. And I'm like, yeah, he was young. He was, you know, fit and all that stuff. So this is pre-Meghan. This is young Harry. This is young Harry, right? Shirt not ironed, nobody's loving on him, right? That whole organization sent me to the prayer altar, right? Yeah, they mess with us, don't they? Let's see, here's the next slide. If you guys can't see these, or if you can, let me know. This is also young Harry, similar hairstyle, but different day, right? This is either 2014, 2015. I tried to go back in the archives. And this is Harry with a beard, right? I don't see a glow up, though. Maybe some of you think that he looks super hot in some of these pictures. But let's see what happens to Harry after Meghan. So drum roll, please. Right? Here we go. This is Harry after Meghan. This is like GQ Harry. And I happen to like the pictures where he's buttoning his jacket. So you'll see that theme. There he is again. Glow up. Am I right? Am I wrong? What do you guys think? Here's another one. This is probably my favorite one. I love the way he just, like, you can see the swag, like, just dripping off of him. This is sexiest man alive, Harry, in my mind. Opinions? Anybody? Let's see. Next one. This is another one, right? Harry looking like a whole butter biscuit. That's what it is. He looks like a biscuit right there. Like, okay, Harry, you look like a biscuit. And then this is Harry. This is one of the latest pictures of Harry with his wife, who loves him so much. She's got him looking, and they're coordinated and all that stuff, right? So, and there they are again. Our Duchess and her sexiest man alive husband. So do you guys think he'll make that list this year? Anybody you're like holding out to? I don't know that we get to vote. But yeah, I'm thinking, Harry would be a great candidate for sexiest man alive. I'm going to run through those again. So before Harry's like edge up, like nobody cared enough to say, dude, let me take you to a good barber, right? He looks like he's in the UK, so maybe it's winter. I don't know. He's not getting much sun. And this shirt, I'm like, his shirt is not even pressed. So his shirt's not something happening. As soon as I get through this, guys, I'm going to come. Shirt's not pressed, not being loved on. Is Muhammad Ali going to be like in the chat? And then we get here. Harry with the beard. I love Harry with the beard, but not this Harry with the beard. But then we get this Harry, and that Harry, and that Harry, that sexy Harry, and that Harry, and there we are. All right, so what's happening? I've heard that the governor's lying, and then they were trashing him. Okay, so yeah, the governor's not going to lie. That's ridiculous, but I guess, when people... I also heard Drake won the Kendrick Lamar battle. Like, Drake stands, people are in their corners, and there's the truth, right? So there's what these people think, those people think, and then there's the truth, right? He would never come out and ruin his career by... Yeah, that's ridiculous. So you have to ask the question, who is saying that he's lying? Are they the same people that are saying that Meghan didn't have her children? Just like Michelle Obama didn't birth her children, according to these same vile people. So when we open up our door to trolls, we have to be able to use our discernment in the same way. Like, are these media sources coming from Reuters? Are they coming from the AP? Or are they coming from, AP trash, I hate Meghan? Like, so that's where discernment comes in. And so if you allow yourself to go down those rabbit holes, you're going to find some dead rabbits, right? Because that's what they're going to put there. Let's see. Anything else? I see Vanzola's joined the chat. But yeah, so I'm thinking like Harry looks like a whole snack right here in this picture with the tan is like real. It's not like the one that was painted on his father's painting, because when Charles, and possibly Charles sat for the painting. I know they said that it's been the artist was painting it for a while, right? And so, so the artist has been painting the painting. So maybe he painted it when it was summertime and he was traveling, but Charles is definitely not the same color as Harry. Harry's almost got the same tan as Meghan in this picture, so To me, he looks amazing. What else is happening over here, you guys? What did I read? The governor of California. Okay, I saw that. I know people are nuts. I telephoned and emailed the governor on Tuesday and thanked him for standing up Prince Harry. Yeah, and it's silly that he has to, right? And yeah, it's just silly that he has to. But the same people that are doing this are the same people that are pushing all kinds of lies. Was it Megyn Kelly? Connie says, I think we should avoid giving haters and trolls our time. Not easy sometimes, but we have to. Our mental health is important, right? I think after we see these things, normally, like for lots of people, we take it in a little bit. It's like, and we take a deep breath, and then we stop, and we pause, and we take another breath and a couple more, and then we think like, okay, what is the most logical conclusion? Is it the usual suspects? Most likely it is. What is their agenda? To cause us to feel a certain way, to cause us to go against, to cause us to mistrust. That's not going to happen, right? That's just not going to happen. Anyone know about this Nigerian woman trashing Meghan? There are lots of... No, I don't. And what is their agenda? Is it money? Is it, I want to be patted on the head? Is it, I want proximity to? Or is she genuine? I don't know. And at the same time, anybody trashing anybody who hasn't done anything, they're probably the one with the issue. And so when people start looking under her skirt, they'll see like if she washed her underwear or her underwear clean. I don't know. But the stains will show if people start looking under your underwear. Under your dress. And so I would advise her to be careful. And when people's children start coming out and saying things, or people's parents start coming out, allegedly, right? Start coming out saying, my mother is doing this for, that could happen. But I think, I don't know who this person, I've seen like a show, it was a clip of about 5 to 7 minutes. And there were 3 faces or 4 faces that were talking about the Duchess. And before I even watched them, I knew exactly what they were going to say. But when you've got those kings saying what they said, those people who are saying those things better be careful when they go home. Because you cannot go against, like every country is not the same. And when governments know that you've gone against someone that they've praised, allegedly things can happen. And I'm not saying anything sinister, but you can become an outcast. So people should be careful. Let's see. I accidentally listening to a troll website that came up on a feed. Yeah, it happens to the best of us. You're like, oh, this person looks like trustworthy. And that's how they get you. It's like, huh. And then you find out, nope, that's just another troll channel. No thanks, I'm not going to do that. And I've seen like a few of them. There are a few African American women who have channels. And I'm just like, really? I can't wait to meet you guys. If I ever happen upon a conference and they're there speaking, I would love to engage in a kind of dialogue with them, because it's not unlike, it's kind of like we sick boss. We sick massa, we sick boss. Like, nah. You can't trust that. And they know they're treacherous. She's a Meghan wannabe. Yeah, there's so many of them too. And like, we have a hole in our heart the size of Harry. They don't mention the babies. They don't care about, I can't say that, but they don't care about those kids. I never hear them talking about wanting to see Lily and Archie, right? So, Connie said, I saw that too and immediately deleted. Crab mentality. Yeah, crabs in a barrel, like just climbing on top of each other, trying to get out. And the things that happen. I know, like a couple of weeks ago, I did a show about, my friend who passed away, and the person who took their life was an African American police officer, and told him to shut the F up. So you don't know, and it's all on video, right? You never know. And so, like, when people get caught up in their, whatever their financial system is, or whatever, like whatever their fervent belief is, sometimes, we just lose them. Like, they can become like a virus. And I think that the hatred that is directed at the Duchess, it's not proportional. It doesn't make sense. It feels like, it feels like allegedly like a kind of terrorism against her. It is not a normal thing. It is, what does this look like? It is, a document got lost in the mail. It is, she smirked. It is, she swallowed this way. It is, like, every tiny little thing. If she grabs Harry's hand too hard, if she grabs it too soft, if she doesn't, if she leads, if he leads, it's always something, right? And they are so beautiful and loving and wonderful, and at the same time. So let's see what else we have. I deleted the message after asking, why do the ugliest people say the most disgusting things about the Sussexes? Oh, okay, good one. I hope those haters don't see Archie and Lilibet until they're 18. Yeah, I hope one day that the squad has, I'm sorry, that one's kind of hidden under the heart. Squad has a confidence. Is that a conference or a confidence? A conference. I was thinking that too. Wouldn't that be great? Doris, you're better than that. No, you're better than me. I would have left it and added allegedly. Yeah, because that's the shield, right? If anybody knows Captain America, that's our shield. You throw that shield out there, and that's our. I saw someone else today. I was watching. What's his Dame Dash? I don't know if you guys know him. He's just another rapper, right? You guys know I'm kind of a hip hop head, but he was dating Aaliyah a long time ago when she passed away. But he was using allegedly, and he was saying the same thing, like, yeah, man. And he was talking about this guy named DJ Vlad. I don't know if you know him, but he hates DJ Vlad. And so he was just like going in, and I was like, whoa, like, that's some serious hate. And he kept saying allegedly, and I'm like, yes, because that's the shield. Because if you're saying, you're saying allegedly, they can't say that you said it, like, that it's something that you declared. You're leaving a question there, right? Just like these channels, what I've noticed, and let me know if you guys have noticed the same thing too, when they're talking about the Duchess, they say the most horrendous things, and then they have a question mark, right? That's their cover, that question mark. If there's a question mark in the title, whatever horrendous thing they've said, that's their allegedly. Oh, so it's not certain, right? These fervent, and answer me this question, guys. Now I'm getting more comfortable right now. Has anyone seen Angela this week? Has she been out there, right? Because to me, since she got dissed so hard by that UK journalist who called her a troll, and I saw him, maybe he said you're acting like a troll or something. He might have covered himself too. But when he used Angela and troll in the same sentence, I don't know that I've seen her since. Have any of you seen Angela lately? Miss Levin, who's had issues with their mom, right? I just haven't. I was like, oh, because it would seem like she'd be on all the shows talking about, all the things that the Duchess has done wrong. She's in limbo? Is she? Is it something happened that I don't know about? Maybe. But he went in on her. I was like, it felt like a spiritual experience to me watching him do that takedown. And I'm like, And now the narrative is starting to shift. Maybe 3%, maybe 6%, we want Harry home. Do you think Harry will come home? And I'm like, I don't think Harry's not LeBron James. I don't think that's alleged. Like, LeBron James did this whole, like, whatever, and then ended up going back home and winning a championship for his hometown. I don't know. Do you guys think that I'm sure he misses his home, but I don't think that they have repented enough yet. And I think the younger people are team Harry, team Meghan, but I think the older people are pretty dug in on, like, we're in these rabbit holes. We are in these sites that hate Meghan, and we enjoy it because there's a certain amount of dopamine that can be produced, and like the whole thing about the paperwork, that whole confirmation was like, oh, finally we have it. We have that thing we've been looking for since, was it 2016? We have this piece of paper. Now we have proof that Meghan is, oh, never mind. The governor said, oh, but actually he's going to risk his whole career and tell a lie that's easily provable. No, he's not. And if Meghan was in having some kind of challenge, which I could never imagine financially, with all the deals that they've struck, she could easily talk to like Tyler Perry would help her out, right? She does. Yes, she does. Angela Levin wants Harry. Yeah. I've interviewed Harry for 15 months myself. I think I know him. Lady, for how long? 15 minutes a shot? You don't know Harry. And in I did this video with about the Obamas and Harry and Meghan, right? And in that one, Harry was like, he said himself, they think they know me. If you guys have a minute, check out like a couple of the videos that are on the site. I actually, you guys have helped me so much in this process. This has been a journey that I've wanted to do for such a long time. And I'm always sitting back, thinking and afraid, and my anxiety is winning, right? And so this channel is doing, relatively okay. I have almost 1,000 subs, and it's been about 40 days maybe. And I think I'm up to, I know you guys might not care about this, but it's a big deal to me. I'm up to about 2,600 hours, and I may be at closer to 3,000 now, which is like, when you get to 4, that's 187 days straight of somebody watching or listening. If one person did that without sleeping for 187 days. So it's a big, big deal to me that with the help of you guys, we have, you guys have shown up and you've cared and you've listened for, whatever amount of time that you have. And that means so much. So that it's helping me in deal with my own anxiety and also to do something that I've always dreamed about doing. And so let me just say that to you guys. I thank you so much for showing up whenever you show up. It makes me feel good. I try and give you, some of what I would want in a podcast anyway. Thoughtfulness, kindness, some sort of deep conversation, and always talking about, the Duchess and the squad. Like, how much better can it get when you sit around with people that you're getting to know, who are starting to feel a lot like family, and you talk about that thing that, other people in the world are like, what? I'm a Meghan stan. I'm a complete Meghan stan, And so I get to nerd out with you guys. I get to fight battles for the Duchess and the Princess Duchess. What are we titling her? Princess Duchess Meghan. For Princess Duchess Meghan and Prince Harry, right? And same with him, Prince Duke Harry. And it is such a wonderful feeling to be able to just vibe out with you guys and talk about this kind of niche topics in a way that feels like thoughtful and that I learn. And you guys, when you put, stuff in the comments here and when you put stuff in the comments on the page, I learn a lot. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting to know you guys too. Okay, Nellie says, wait, first, Vonzola says, you're right. Did I miss anything? Harry has said several times that he's not going back, right? Good. I thank you for your support and work for that lovely couple. Yeah, and it feels like, and that's the good part about like being in these spaces and doing this. It doesn't really feel like work. Even like when I'm doing research and creating stuff like silly little raps, for the pictures to go along with with the Charles images. I'm like, I'm gonna rap. I love Kendrick. I've been talking about Kendrick, and all of this like is adjacent, right? And thank you so much for saying that, Quinny. That means so much. I think Harry wants his children to know their country and that they can go and come as they like, hence fighting for security. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's the dream. I think that is the dream. And do you think it's going to happen? Because William seems to be allegedly so dug in his position. And, Catherine, I don't know where she is. And I don't like to talk too much about her. But I don't know where she is. I'm not convinced that I've seen her. Allegedly, I'm not convinced that the video that came out, and then like, was there ever an explanation about the woman that was running the day before that they put out as official? Right? I don't know that that's happened, that the Crown has sufficiently explained how Catherine was running in the market, the farmer's market, the day or 2 days before, and then all of a sudden can't be on camera for whatever period of time. So let's see what else we have. I agree with you, Connie. These fools don't know the depth of Harry's love for Meghan. They do not. And that's too, like, that whole glow up. The glow up to me is love. Like, yeah, he looks fit, he looks handsome, he looks like a whole butter biscuit, right? And you can see in his body language, in his smile, in everything he does, you can see his love for Meghan and his love for his children, right? Or I think I can, right? Connie Balmer says, absolutely, we love Professor Cincy. Thank you, Connie. I love you too. You guys are so great. Like, I'm pushing through, my anxiety to do something that I really want to do, and which is to have community with people who care about the same thing that I care about, right? Vonzola says, error, definitely not department. Did I miss something? If she's, we wish her well despite her treating, our princess badly. Yeah, the whole thing about the socks, someone brought that up yesterday, and the whole thing about Meghan made me cry when, that Camilla, where is she? Camilla Tominey, dare I say her name out loud? I need to knock on wood and everything else. Camilla Tominey, she was like, and Meghan made Kate cry, and we're like, what? And then for it all to not be true. So we wish her well, right? We don't want to bring up the one troll that came in the one day who we had to, deal with that day. That was a lot. Can we do a deep dive? What do you want to do a deep dive on? Do you want me to bring up the pictures of Charles again? And we can talk about the monarch butterfly and my whole, theory about that. So let's see, turn this on. I'm getting better, guys, see? I practice. Let me go back to one. So, humor me a little bit. So I made this whole thing up. This is my new, and I'm so proud of it. Can you guys see it? So this is my new logo, not with Meghan and Harry, just by itself. I just think it looks so good with them on there. I've been working on every aspect of this podcast. So then we get to... Someone said this looks like George. I think they're right. Do you guys remember who said that? So here's part of a deep dive, right? Thank you, Connie Balmer. I love the professor too. I love you too, Nellie Dean. Do you think Harry was a little naive when it came to his family because he married a mixed young lady? I think yes. I think yes and no. I think Harry knew when he went, and I'm going to bring it up, that thing that the tabloids get on him about a few times a year. I think when he called his brother and sister-in-law allegedly and told them about the costumes that he was trying to get for the party, and they suggested that he went with the SS costume, allegedly, that he understood. And when they went to that party and it had all of these people dressed up, like members of tribes, because they thought it was cool to cosplay what they thought of as, African people, I think he understood that there was a great deal of bias and racism and prejudice in those circles. And at the same time, when you look at his college dorm and you look on his wall and you see a picture of Halle Berry and you see how Princess Diana tried to raise him. So we know that he thought that mixed black women were beautiful, right? And so that's also true. So yes, naive, and then maybe hoped that people changed, right? But I'm sure, like, when his cousin or whatever she is, the lady who wore the Blackamoor brooch showed up, what? He had never, just like Meghan, because Meghan, I don't believe that it's intentional that she passes or that she's able to pass, just like my mom. Like, people look at you and they make up in their own mind what they think of you when they don't know you. So she looks visibly, like when she's not tan, she like she could be almost any ethnicity, right? And again, like people who have an African background and are used to seeing mixed black people could easily identify for the most part that she was black. But for people who don't, like, just like people in this country who have, some of my friends who are from Mexico say, oh, I could tell she was Mexican. I'm like, I didn't see that. I thought maybe Italian, maybe. They're like, nope, it's very clear to me. So she could pass, and she did, maybe without trying, but even his suit, they wrote in a black father for a reason, right? Let's see, back to the comments. If she is, let me see. Thank you, Connie. Do you think Harry was another? Yep, I said that. Okay. Because he's married. So, yeah, so for me, like, when I was creating these things, and I think I told you guys, if you want to create AI images, you can create really beautiful ones. I'm not getting any monies or commission for anything. I like to put people up on game, right? So that's a colloquialism that I like. So here, I'm putting you guys up on some game. You can go to Crayola. I think it's Crayola.com. And you can come up with images of almost any kind that you want. This is the one I prefer. They're all free. And you can I can sit there for hours playing around. And, I have I was a photography major in college too. I know I've had lots of the different majors. So I have to have a creative side. So this is what I came up with. And just thinking he's kind of young and looking innocent and sweet here as a baby, and then like all the neglect and the other issues that came up over time, and then the monarchy is always looming though, that there's the monarch, and can you find the monarch, and then like losing the innocence again, like, and so yeah, I created this whole like goofy rap. If you want to hear it, you have to go listen to the episode that I did yesterday. Yeah, so getting older, and you can see in my mind this is like what he looked like maybe around Diana's time, and when all of those things were maybe slightly after Diana, and I'm getting, in my, this is me as an artist thinking like, and inserting the monarch in different places, the monarch butterfly on the monarch, or a person who would be monarch eventually. And then this is, to me, like if he combed his hair over to the center, that, Now he has the crown, he has the monarchy in his hand. And so now what's he going to do? He's going to look at his painting. He's going to look at his painting. Let's see. Did you guys see how Harry made sure that Meghan didn't have any mishaps coming down or up the stairs? I didn't. I'll go have to. Was that in Nigeria? Harry had a poster of Halle Berry on his dorm wall. I saw it. Yeah, allegedly, but I saw it with my own eyes. And Halle Berry saw it. And she was like, is that me? Is that me on Harry's? There's a whole interview out there with Halle Berry talking about the moment that she realized that Prince Harry had a pinup of her on his dorm wall. I was like, okay. Yeah, so that was her clue that if she was maybe 20 years younger, she probably could have dated the prince too. Maybe 10. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not saying he had a type, but I know he appreciated beautiful women. Vanzola says, Doris, I saw that photo in his room. Yeah, you saw it too. I go through your podcast, Professor, and so far no trolls. I hunt for them in Sussex channels and report them. Good. You know, that one day I had to delete the one lady who was doing research. And I'm thinking, like, you've seen these pages pop up. She might have been telling the truth. Because I saw one today. Let me know if you've seen one like this. It was a person who looked like she was a black woman who said, I created a Meghan Markle podcast so that I could expose the squad, right, for doing this to Catherine. I'm like, we don't spend, if we spend 1% of our time, and most of it is on sympathy and empathy, like, we're not vibing over there. That's not us that are going in those spaces to investigate what you guys are talking about. So, because we come from love. We are love. We are loving. And the only reason that we, like, get our panties in a bunch is because you guys are trying to tear down a woman who's done nothing but good. Right? We haven't seen Meghan. What has she ever done? You know, that makes... I haven't seen any evidence of anything, right? So, yeah, thank you for doing that. And if you see one, you know, let me know. Because it's... I think it was yesterday. In the end, there was one guy. He didn't get too out of control. But he got on some people's nerves. And they were like... Was that you, Connie? Asked? No, I think that was Marzar asking where the troll spray was. He wasn't out of control. Like, I have some on the page sometimes. I normally, like, 99%, every time I've deleted them except one person, and I don't know if they were a troll, they were trying to check me about the Michelle Obama episode saying that Meghan didn't have a relationship with Michelle. And I'm like, if you watch the podcast or read the description, you would understand that it's about intersectionality and how they face the same challenges. Michelle was dehumanized. Barack had to, you know, show his birth certificate. You have the same thing with Meghan. Show us your DNA. Show us your Nigeria papers, right? It's the same intersection. They have challenges with people in the media based on these things, you know. So don't come for me. If you haven't done any research, why are you commenting on something that you think is happening? Because if you had watched 15 seconds of the episode, you would know exactly what we covered in said episode, right? So that's the only time I was like, yeah. Normally I just like delete them. I didn't see them come back and say anything else, but I was just a little bit like, okay, like, don't come for me unless you've got some facts, and then we can, you know, if you're kind, we can debate them. But let's see, anything. Hi everyone from Africa. So people are just saying hello. Are there people in here from Africa right now or from other continents? I know, Connie, you're in Europe, right? And I think someone else was from Switzerland that was on the channel, or someone was from Switzerland on the channel today. I've seen Nigeria. I've seen I've seen some other places around the world. I think the majority of the people who come on are from the US and then UK. Then I think it's Australia. I'm like, okay. And then a few from Korea, South Africa, Nigeria, maybe in that order. I'm not like, I read some of this stuff. I'm like, oh, we have 0.002% from Korea. That's interesting. I wonder who's traveling. So I do put a lot of the podcasts in French because I realize that a lot of African, countries speak French. So like Ivory Coast and other places like that. So I'm like, oh, you're from Japan. Okay, so we have someone from Japan here. Very nice. I can say Ohio. Good morning. And that's about all. Sawadika. No, that's Thai. Sorry. Anyway, yeah. So I do look at the statistics, but I think we have squatties that care about the Duchess from around the world because people see themselves, I think, in her, and also maybe because people understand what it feels like to be marginalized, and or they don't like bullies. Like, it can be these reasons and plenty of others. Like, does anybody want to say how they or why they got involved in the squad? What was the moment for you that did it? And I get to talk to people about their own biases and like the way the media is radicalized, and to show me like what is something that the Duchess has ever done. I have yet to figure out one thing from any person that Meghan has ever done to deserve any of it. And so, some black people have the same opinions. Like, I have one friend who's not a Meghan. She doesn't like Meghan very much, which is fine. Like, you don't have to. And I still don't see anything like that there is to not like her, because, you have free will, but to have this kind of fervor. We didn't see this around Prince Andrew when they paid that money, right? And I'll say allegedly, but when the money was paid for Ghislaine Maxwell, I didn't see the kind of fervor around that as I see around the Duchess. And so, what could it be? I'm thinking it's, the blood. It's the blood, and it's the origin. Where is the woman from? Where is Meghan from? Her origin is literally one parent of African descent, and then another parent who, I think somebody in his family, his mother or somebody was Italian, or grandmother. I think grandmother was Italian. And so, but the whole thing about when you hold one group of people up and you say that they're pure, then by nature, anybody who has, let's call them opposite features, are considered impure, right? Imbeciles. You're like, what? Meghan, we know, if you've studied biology, how civilization started, and you know about dominant and recessive genes, and how like certain genes went away when people traveled further north because they were no longer needed. We've had that conversation too. And so, for our Duchess, I think that the hate is based on the African ancestry. There may even be some because of the Italian, I'm not sure. But definitely the African ancestry. So, how did you guys, okay, Connie, how did you guys come to care about the Duchess or defend? Does anybody want to say that process of, I am a squatty, and I know I'm a squatty because I had this experience, or this person made me feel like responding. I just love, and they were such a loving couple. Then the evil people just dashed my dreams, and that's how I came to be so invested. Yeah, Nelly, Yeah, they do, don't they? You when you look at them, you're like, oh my gosh, they're such a beautiful couple. I love them. And then you have the cruel people come in. Princess Meghan Adamazi, hold on, that went up. Omu is free to travel to any country. She is not a prisoner. Period. Yep. She is not. And she's got 4 kings, which, baby Jesus had 3. She has 4 kings behind her. Doris says, summer 2019, I was so upset with Meghan's treatment, I cried. Then I stumbled upon Tina and Michelle and is it Brant? I don't know that one. Is it Brame? Brame? I don't remember that one. But the Tina and Michelle, definitely. Like, oh, and that one episode that we did for Tina and Michelle, the ode to Tina and Michelle, I know I only played about 2 or 3 minutes of them talking, but I just felt so nostalgic. And I always give them a commercial whenever I think about them. Because if you go to Apple Podcasts, they are up on Apple Podcasts. And if you've never heard Tina and Michelle, you can go check out that episode about the ode to Tina and Michelle. And then you can go to Apple Podcasts and just listen to them. Some of the podcasts were like 4 hours or longer. That they were just on there vibing and talking to us and like going in. Like literally just going in on the media. And Tina's an attorney. I can't remember what Michelle does for a living. But Michelle she's got that tongue. Like, you don't want to play with Michelle. Tina has it, but Michelle is like, no. She'd be like, these mother, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, Michelle. Like, and I got so much joy from listening to her, like, media takedown every Sunday morning that I'm like, oh, please come back. Like, I want to hear Michelle's voice. And so every once in a while, when I feel like I'm missing that voice, I'll go to, and it's called the Sussex Squad Podcast. So that's all you have to do. Go to, and a couple of the episodes are up on YouTube, but it's not the same. It's not them like really, really going in. It's like some of the announcements about like the birth of the children or the births of the children. Let's see. I am Meghan, power to my sister. Say that again. I am Meghan Markle, power to my sister. That's right. Yes, every Sunday morning. I'm more Michelle. That's me too. I love Tina, but Michelle is like, oh, can you say that again, please? Oh, the Sussex set. That's right. And then Terrellian, he's gone. And somebody just went to Patreon exclusively. Who just went to Patreon exclusively? Yeah, the Sussex. And what happens is these channels, I think, get reported. And you have all the hate channels out there. Right? And they stay up. And they stay up. And the Sussex positive channels, they don't get the same grace. Allegedly, it doesn't feel like it. Because when we dedicate ourselves to a lot of these spaces, like they might have one day of upset and boom, I'm reporting you. Boom, I'm reporting you. And your whole channel like gets taken down. And it's like, so that space is gone. And I've always had the belief that Meghan listens to, Meghan listened to Tina. She probably goes back and listens to them now. Tina and Michelle for sure, Sussex Squad. And I bet she listens to Petal. I bet she listens to Baron. I bet she listens to VS. And what's her name? Whose channel was almost suspended that they were trying to demonetize. Oh, Duchess of Success. There's so many. There's like a really good amount of good ones or ones that I listen to. I listen to Petal a lot. I vibe with Petal a lot. Tina and Michelle though, they were like, oh, they brought me here. Connie says, hold on one second. Let me try and go in order. Yes, every Sunday. V had this. Yep. When I heard Tina and Michelle, I felt like I was being detoxed. Amen. Right? Doris Johnson. Okay. They were on Spaces for the Nigeria trip. Okay. I miss Tina and Michelle. They were wonderful. They were, and they were so smart. Oh my God, they were so smart. They made you raise your game. They helped you raise your thinking game. And you were able to like have better conversations. They had all these experts on, and they cut through the noise so easily. Quinn, we may hear from them one of these days. Baron mentioned it. Connie, what time is it where you live? I really hope, Connie, I miss them so much. Yeah, I want to hear from Tina and Michelle. Someone said that they were on, was it not Duchess of Success? Was it on VS's channel that they were on? Oh, it's 8:57 in Switzerland. It might have been, someone said that they were on one channel, and if you weren't maybe a member that you didn't get to talk or like send comments, but you could listen. I need to find out what that episode was so I can go back and listen to that one too, because just to hear where they're, I don't know if they talked about what they're doing now. And I heard that Tina was in Nigeria. I'm not 100%, allegedly, but I heard that she was in Nigeria during Meghan's trip there. Tina and Michelle were so funny and would let the derangers have it. They did. Like, oh, I'm telling you, for the people in this podcast, and I'm sure most of you do know them, but if there is one or two or three or four of you that haven't, and you want to have like a supreme experience, and you want to experience euphoria, like, don't put on Kendrick's Euphoria, put that on second. Put on anything by Tina and Michelle, and they will give you life, because the takedowns were real. And Michelle would be like late, I think a lot of times, I might be wrong, but I think she would sometimes come in a little bit later, and she would come in with fire, like, and brimstone, and I'm like, oh, yes, that's the voice we needed. We needed to hear from Michelle. Tina held it down. And do you guys remember when Petal had a partner too? Petal and Pam? Were you guys listening to Petal and Pam? That was good. Like, I liked when Pam was on there too. And and then it's been, I think I've seen Pam come back on Petal's show once, maybe in the last year or two, but I haven't seen Pam. Do lots of you watch Petal's show also? Because I think she's really special. And I haven't had a chance to watch her this week because I've been so busy doing all this research and trying to put together good shows. But when I have time to just chill out and relax, and I get alerts about Petal's channel too. But yeah, Pam was on Petal's channel. I liked her too. But Tina was like, bam. And then Michelle, when she came in, it was over. It was like, take the L out of lover and it's over. Like, bye. Like, yeah, it was just supreme. Tina and Michelle were so funny and would let Pam had some heat. Somewhat. I'm sorry, I can't see that underneath the heart. Health problems, I think it says. Oh, is that what happened? I liked her too. They had a nice little vibe going, Petal and Pam. And yeah, did she wear yellow? I'm seeing yellow for some reason, for Pam maybe. But yeah, there would be, I think, was it during COVID maybe? And you would see them in their houses, and they would show their faces on the screen a lot more, Petal and Pam. And so I'm like, okay. And then Petal started coming on more like solo. I hope Pam's okay, because she was nice, and together they made a really nice show too. I still love Petal's show. It was just a different show when you had banter back and forth, which is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping to get, I want one of my friends to come on who's not a Meghan fan, and I want to see if you guys will ask questions, and I want to just talk to them about, what makes them dislike, I think, even the Duchess. They would say they don't dislike her, but that's what I sense. And it's like, so how do we have conversations with people when they dislike the Duchess or someone else that we are really, that we really are passionate about?
because we are here in this space and other spaces all the time, supporting our Duchess, trying to make sure that she's taken care of and that she's okay, and that we can help her in whatever ways that we can. And at the same time, like, you know, we see these people in our lives. Sometimes we have, I was shocked when my friend was like, nah, I don't like her. I was like, what? How can you say that? That's what? Let's see. Try to listen to all the positive channels, but sometimes the evil slips in and I have to delete and remove from history. You mean in the positive channels that the evil slip in those channels too? Ugh, then are they truly, yeah, that's odd. That's odd. I listened to the ones that I named, and what's his name? The Duke. Oh gosh, there are a couple of guys that do it too. I like the one Prince. What's his name? The Duke. Something the Duke. Ugh, he does shorts. He does like 3-5 minute videos, and I've never seen him do it live, but he does like. Oh gosh, you guys have seen him, right? Something the Duke. I can't think of his name, but I think I saw him in passing today when I think he may have had a painting of Prince Charles on his screen too. It seems like that's a popular one, like that painting of Prince Charles. That's one of the more popular ones. So I think I've been on, how long have I been on here? An hour and 16. I was only planning on being on about 30 minutes. So I think I'm going to run through our slideshow, the other one, and take a look at the black wife effect on Harry one more time before we head out. So we start here. And this is Harry before. This is a young Harry. I think this is 2014. How come nobody helped him with a haircut? The suit looks fine. Probably could be steamed. The tie and the shirt look good. The haircut, not so much. And then we have... my mother would die about this shirt. Like, can somebody please iron his shirt? Haircut still, nothing special. You know, he's a handsome guy. It looks like he just jumped out of the shower and, you know, looks okay. Doesn't look like anybody's loving on him very much here. Come on, Harry, we got you. Even this one with the beard. I mean, Harry's a sexy dude with a beard. I'm like, somebody needs to be loving on him. This may be 2015. And then this is the Harry we love. Harry looking like a hot butter biscuit, something coming straight out of the oven past the jam. Yeah, Dre the Duke, that's what it is. That's what it is. Harry was treated... Yes, can you imagine throwing this away? Like, what? Oh, so... Meghan gave him a glow up in mind, body, and soul. Like, his painting will never look like... Imagine what his painting would look like. It would be an angel, probably. I love him buttoning, so I searched specifically for the ones. Like, I think that gesture is so sexy. So, and this is my favorite, I think. Like, yeah, he's got so much confidence. Like, that's a man right there. Look at Harry. He looks so, to me. Can I get a one in the chat if you think Harry's looking like a hot butter biscuit or something else? Like, he looks so good. I'm calling him sexiest man alive. I hope he gets it. Like, sexiest man alive, hot butter biscuit edition, 2024. And Cat Williams is 2024. Nobody thinks he looks handsome. Can you guys give me a one if you think Harry looks good? He's really grown into his own. He has. He was a diamond in the rough. Yes, I'm just like, this is like, you can see this, yeah. He just looks, he's got swag right there. Like, oh, from top to bottom, like, you can just tell. He's like, yeah, I'm going home to my wife later on, and he's so much smarter, too. I'm not saying that he wasn't smart, but Meghan has encouraged it, and she has lifted that up, and she has allowed him, like, to show us his true nature. And he's a brilliant dude. He's a handsome dude. Yes, thank you, Nelly T. Thank you. A number one for Harry. Harry is the number one guy. I do not think we have any energy for people who do not love Princess Adamazi Omu. Hate or dislike is a disease that needs a psychiatrist. Yeah, it's a tough thing to work on when people, and it's something that you can work on. Like if you have hate and you choose to, you can call the psychiatrist or a therapist and get some help with that, right? Hate is a really hard thing, though. Hate is a really hard thing, and if they don't want help, then yeah, it's really hard to help someone who doesn't, unless they suddenly see something of themselves and they're like, oh, they have an aha moment, or enough people tell them that this feels pretty toxic and I'm not interested in having a relationship with you until you get some help. So, but you can see like Harry, he just looks so sad and and when in that first video when he talks about, I knew I had to raise my game if I was going to talk to her, I was like, oh, imagine he's raising his game so he can hang out with our Duchess, and look what happened. Like, they've seemingly been so happy. Warm greetings from South Africa, Professor Zinzi and all the beloved Sussex warriors. Dumelara or Dumelama. I don't know if you're from Botswana or you speak Swana or Zulu or Xhosa or which one. Yeah, I've been to that place. It's so wonderful and lovely. Say hi to all the Mchales there. So anyway, sorry. Yeah, so Harry to me, he has a glow up. And if there is a vote for sexiest man alive, Harry gets my vote. And not only just because he's physically handsome, right? He looks good physically. The way that suit is cut from top to bottom, like, wow, the shoulders, the thighs, yeah, you can tell he's been working out, like it just fits, right? But also, even more than that, he looks loved. He looks loved, and you can tell, like, nobody's coming from Dumela. Dumela, ma. I'm coming over, Coco. Anyway, yeah, so he looks like he's very loved on, and when he's next to her, and, we haven't gotten a chance to see him much with the children, just, a photo here and there. But when you do, or, like earlier pictures or small videos when they were tiny, you see he loves those babies so much. And to me, it feels like a lot of people over there want Harry back. They want Harry. They don't want, they don't necessarily, and maybe I'm wrong. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. They don't necessarily want the same thing from his progeny. Allegedly, they might, but I haven't seen that, right? So, anyway, guys, my Mac is about to, let me see, crash out. So, get ready to head out, because I said I was going to do a show in the morning. I'm going to have to be up pretty early to do that one if I'm going to, unless I cancel it tonight. So we'll see. But thanks, guys. It was a great show. I really appreciated you all showing up, and I may be here in the morning. If not, you'll see that the thing's been canceled. So goodbye, everybody. It was wonderful talking to you all.